Hello, this is my second video about how to prepare before undertaking a trance or meditation journey. And this video is about the breath. And I've called it breathing space. So now we're positioned and protected, it's time to focus on our breath. Why is focusing on the breath such a central tenet of meditation practice across all philosophies? Because breath is the great leveller. No incarnate creature is above or beyond it, regardless of any of our perceived divisions. Try to resist the urge to breathe. It's futile. It's such an innate feature of existence that we just do it automatically, like now, as we're sharing these words together. But as we've probably just noticed, our automatic breathing is generally shallow and unsatisfactory. Previously, we may have only noticed our breathing when we're nervous and need to calm ourselves. Then we deliberately take deep, slow breaths. We need to amend this so that we become aware of our breathing regularly, monitoring it throughout our day. This is called being with the breath, staying focused in awareness of exhalation and inhalation. Being with the breath is intimate and immediate, being accessible to us at all times. By being with the breath, we'll become deeper awake, maintaining an alert presence rather than being a somnambulist who assumes they're fully conscious while they're not. This deep awake and aware state means that we're more lucid in our life dream, allowing us to affect positive change more readily. We become less reactionary, operating from the base level of human emotion and the fight or flight mechanism, and we become more response-able, capable of considered behaviour centred in our eternal wild nature. We'll look at practical means by which we can live lucidly in other videos, but for now let's concentrate on this new era of enhanced consciousness by centering on our breath. To begin, let's move our hand to our diaphragm to feel what's happening deep within us. Feel the rise and fall of our chest as oxygen is taken in and carbon dioxide is released. Listen to the sound of the air as it is inhaled and exhaled. Make each breath deeper and slower, more deliberate. There's nothing more important in this shared moment than this breath. In and out, rising and falling, holding and releasing again. Our breath is nebulous. It seems insubstantial, yet it makes our material body respond tangibly and it energizes it. The breath is miraculous, and yet it's utterly mundane. It's an everyday enchantment. In and out, rising and falling, holding and releasing. This simple act that we're sharing now helps if we become detached from our bodily processes. Yet we're also realising that we're not our bodies, and so identifying with it completely would be a regressive move. Denying the body negates our current individual experience, whilst neglecting our eternal aspect renders the experience meaningless. It's a case of holding the balance, having a more intimate connection with our apparent physical self, our seen aspect, even as we know it's not truly who we are. We are infinite consciousness. That is our unseen aspect. Holding the balance is a dual awareness. Focusing on the breath reveals how connected both aspects of us are, making us aware of our totality as a being, our oneness, and so it reminds us of the oneness of all things. Now, as we sit or lie in our position, we can use our breath to reconnect. This we do through a process I call entering the silence. The sound of silence. We enter the silence by being with our breath and deliberately ceasing the litany of internal chatter that marks our lives. When we still our unquiet human mind, we immediately dissolve the boundaries between inner, outer, physical, non-physical, because when our temporary self is quiet, all there is what we are. When we enter the silence, we're in a state of mindless mindfulness, simply being not doing. We're in a place of no place, between all worlds and yet part of them. This is the dual awareness. When we do this, we just are. This sounds impossibly esoteric and tricksy when we listen to me speaking now, but it will become clearer when we actually engage in the process. If we think of it, it's rather like riding a bike or driving a car. When we're faced with the mechanics of what's involved with doing those things, it seems too complicated. We think we'll never get from a stationary position to being out on our own enjoying the journey. But if we keep practicing, we find, like magic, that one day we're actually driving or riding without effort. And before too long, we're able to have a conversation or sing to music while we're doing it. It just becomes second nature to us. If we were asked to keep 5 batons in the air simultaneously after reading a manual called How to Juggle, we'd know that it just wasn't possible, except perhaps by a fluke. Similarly, no amount of me talking and describing can help us enter the silence. We need to begin it together now. But how? We focus on our breath, and only the breath. We inhale deeply through our nostrils. We hold for a count of 3. And then we exhale through the mouth. The sound we make when we're doing this is like the sea. On the in-breath, the tide pulls back. Then there's a moment of stasis when the quiet wave is suspended before we release it onto the shore with a rush. In and out. This is a soothing sound. It's the rhythm of life on this planet. It's the sibilant hiss of all that is as it contracts and expands again after countless unfathomable aeons. It's the comforting yet powerful pulse of creation. And so we breathe in and out, deeper and slower, merging with the wild ocean of existence and acceptance. This whisper and whoosh of breath is the only noise we're aware of now. All the other sounds die back as if the volume of everyday life is being turned down. We're only tuned in to that lulling sea sound of breathing in and out. Deeper and deeper, becoming ever less vigilant but more sentient. We let any extraneous thoughts rise up and dissolve like the sea mist in the midday sun. We observe the thoughts without engaging with their meaning. Those musings belong to our temporal human persona and not to our source or wild self. Our self can observe them as illusions within our life dream. They're nothing more. They become more insubstantial with every breath as we breathe deeply, slowly and evenly in and out. With each breath we free ourselves from any trivial desires that tether us and keep us tame. We are becoming our wild self. We let any troublesome residual human feelings go. In this timeless time, this perpetual now that we're sharing together, those feelings aren't relevant. They don't own us and we don't own them. We don't push them forcibly away, but we witness them like driftwood bobbing by on an ocean of awareness before letting them disappear. We simply breathe in and out. We're flowing without moving. And we keep focusing on our breath and only the breath. Everything temporary and human is dissolving away except the breath. That alone keeps us in touch with our temporal existence. We are all possibility, relaxing into an ever-expanding eternity. We are infinite awareness, allowing the experience to unfold in and out. There is nothing but this shared moment. We are all. All is well. All is. We gently now bring our attention back to our breath. If we are going to continue with our trance journey, then we will move to the next video where I guide you onwards. But if we are going to come back now to the present, we will let our sensations of our body become known once more, greeting them as friends. We allow this reality to filter back in. We begin to hear the sounds and the sense of the place that we are now in. Our awareness is back with our individual perspective in this life dream. We are infinite consciousness experiencing existence through the filter that we currently call me. And so we return to ordinary reality, and yet we keep an awareness of our breath as we move through our day. Through our breath we become more deeply aware, more deeply awake. Thank you for joining me.